Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and it's me, the Rad. How's it going? So this video is going to be a wee bit different. I don't normally do this, but since it's the first time in a month, I'm going to watch some MMA, aka the UFC, because that's all I fucking watch. I'm deciding I'm going to start maybe doing some picks for it, and since this is the first card of the year, I'm going to, see how it goes, maybe tally up my bullshit at the end of the year. I doubt that, because I only upload like 6 times a year, and then, not including shorts, but videos, it's only about 6 a year, so, yeah, let's get into this. If you don't know who's fighting, it's Walker versus ANKALAEV 2, Electric Boogaloo, so let's get to it. So, the first fight on the card is Felipe Bunes versus Joshua Van. I haven't seen Bunes fight, really, to be honest with you, and I've had the fortunate chance to see Van fight 2 or 3 times in the UFC now. I don't think he's had a finish. I think they've all been decisions, so I'm going to pick Joshua Van by decision again. He's young, he's got a wee bit of hype around him, and I think he'll just use his boxing to, keep it on the feet and, scroll to a decision nice and easy. For the next fight on the card, it's Nicholas Motta versus Tom Nolan. Now, I've picked Tom Nolan by KO. Now, he's only got a 6-0 record, and Nicholas Motta has quite a few more fights than him, especially in the UFC. This is, I believe, Tom Nolan's UFC debut, so I'm going, but that being said, he's a much taller fighter with a 5.5 inch reach advantage, and I do believe Tom Nolan has won all his professional fights by stoppage, so I'm going to pick the, it's on paper, you think Tom's going to win. Yeah, I think he is. 5.5 inch reach advantage, and he's taller, and Nicholas Motta, I believe, is coming off 2 back-to-back losses, so that being said, I'm going to pick the newcomer Tom Nolan, and apparently he's quite highly touted in Australia, so yeah, I'd like to see that fight. Anyway guys, the next fight on the card is Gene Sylvia versus Weston Wilson. To me, as far as I could gather, this seems like a bit more of a showcase gimme fight for Gene Silva. It seems like Gene Silva's the one coming in and going to make a big show. That being said, I think he's going to get the stoppage, and I think he's going to do it by TKO, and I think he's just going to come in, round 1 finish, big showcase, and a big, next new guy, another new guy to look out for, whoa, like one of those fuckers. So yeah, I think that's how it's going to go. Anyway guys, the next fight we've got here is Farid Basharat versus Taylor Lapalus, a very French sounding name. Anyway, I think this is going to be a Farid Basharat UD after a long WrestleFest. Surprisingly enough, I wasn't sure entirely about this fight, because Taylor Lapalus has a decent record, 19-3. He's not quite undefeated like, Basharat is with 11-0, but it's 2 decent records here, and it was hard to choose. It was kind of hard to choose. I wasn't sure. Again, I'm not really familiar with both guys, so I'll just say Basharat UD by wrestling. Basically, I think that's the best way to go. Alright guys, the next fight is Marcus McGee, and he will take on Gaston Balanos. Again, pronunciations are not my fucking strong suit, especially when they're quite goofy. This is a rescheduled bout, and the only reason I can, kind of edge toward Marcus McGee is because he's got more ways to finish the fight. Like, throughout his career, he's got more finishes, especially on the ground with submissions, so if I'm gonna choose, I'll say Marcus McGee round 2 rear naked choke. Alright guys, and the next fight we have is Matthew Semmelsberger versus Preston Parsons. Now, I believe Preston Parsons is very much a jiu-jitsu guy, where he's going to want to get the guy to the ground and submit him, as far as I'm aware. However, Matthew Semmelsberger hasn't been submitted since 2017, which was only his, 3rd pro fight. So I'm going to take Semmelsberger to get back in the win column with a unanimous decision. That's my guess here for the moment. Alright guys, so we move on to the main card where we kick off with a heavyweight bout. It's Andrei Arlovski versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Now, I've got a little affinity myself for legends, so you know, Arlovski, and obviously Jim Miller's fighting on this card, praying for UFC 300. I wonder who will be fucking fighting on that. But for that reason, and the fact that he's won 6 of his last 9, and I don't think he's completely done just yet, I'm going to take Andrei Arlovski by unanimous decision, just because he's a legend and most likely the underdog. I love a fucking underdog, you know, pick. So, and everyone loves rooting for an underdog as well. So that's why I'll pick Arlovski by unanimous decision. Probably do a bit of wrestling, I'm guessing Arlovski will. So, yeah, UD for him. Anyway guys, the next fight we have here is Phil Hoss, and he's taking on Bruno Ferreira. Now, the reason I'm going to pick Bruno Ferreira by KO in round 1 is because Phil Hoss, his last 4 losses have came by TKO or KO, so I will take Ferreira and it will be by either or. I'm not sure what it will be, but it will happen round 1, and I think this is a kind of like Gene Silva. This is a bit of a statement fight where he's going to take the win, you know, and put on a big show against quite a hardy opponent. So yeah, that is Bruno Ferreira by KO, round 1. Alright guys, in the next fight we have Ricky Simon, and he will take on Mario Batista. Now, this is the fight I had the most trouble picking. I had trouble with the last one, I did have a lot of trouble with this one as well. Purely based on the fact that both guys are really good, and this is going to be close, I think. But I'm going to guess, for either guy, I'm not going to pick anyone because I'm not sure. Like, seriously, I don't know why I can't, but it's just going to be difficult to pick. It's either going to go to a split decision or it's going to end in a submission in round 2 for either guy. So, yeah. Split decision or submission finish. That's what I'm going for. It's a bit of a cop-out. I'm not picking anyone, but yeah, that's just, it's my guess. Alright guys, and the next fight in the co-main event is Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. In case you didn't know from my fucking ramblings earlier, I'm picking Jim fucking Miller. That is by TKO in round 1 to set up his next fight on the main card of UFC 300, praying that he gets out there with any fucking injuries, or on his farm he doesn't get injured on there either, cause fuck that. Yeah, Jim Miller, TKO, that's what I'm guessing. That's my best bet, should I say. Alright guys, and we come to the main event, which is Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Now, from what I can guess from Twitter, a lot of people, for some reason, I don't know why, but they seem to be like counting Ankalaev out. I don't get that mindset, I don't get where that comes from really. Maybe they're just a big fan of Johnny Walker. But it's, yeah, obviously in case you don't know, the UFC puts out fucking fights on their YouTube channel to, you know, try and enhance a card. However, I've got no fucking idea how you can do that with the first fight they had, because it was 1, really short, and 2, didn't prove fucking anything. For me, myself, I'm going to go with Ankalaev by unanimous decision. I think he obviously has the wrestling with him, even though Johnny Walker is a ginormous fucking light heavyweight. Like, he's 6'6" and definitely coming in at least 220 on fucking fight night. However, he's very susceptible to getting caught as Johnny Walker. He's had a few, you know, knockouts go against him, and I just don't believe he is as good on the ground as Ankalaev. In saying that, Ankalaev did get caught off of Paul Craig with a fucking, you know, triangle. So it's a hard one, but I'm going to say ANKALAEV with his ground game. He's got very good stand-up as well. Obviously Johnny Walker's stand-up is very flamboyant, goofy, athletic. And what I mean by that, like, he can like move very quickly. So I don't know, tell me what you guys pick. I hope you guys pick something similar, but that's what I'm guessing. ANKALAEV by unanimous decision, and a fucking, yeah. This is my first one doing one of these, and I tried a script-esque sort of format. So yeah, happy days.